After World War II, people in Hollywood who were considered sympathetic towards the American Communist Party or were anyway involved in any liberal humanitarian efforts that were considered associated with communism were to be blacklisted. Americans, don't patronize Reds. You can drive the Reds out of television, radio, and Hollywood. This track will tell you how, why we must drive them out. The Reds have made our screen, radio, and TV Moscow's most effective fifth column in America. The Reds of Hollywood and Broadway have always been the chief financial support of communist propaganda in America. Our own films, made by Red producers, directors, writers, and stars, are being used by Moscow in Asia, Africa, the Balkans, and throughout Europe to create hatred of America. Right now, films are being made to craftily glorify Marxism, UNESCO, and one-worldism. And via your TV set, they are being piped into your living room and are poisoning the minds of your children under your very eyes. So remember, if you patronize a film made by Red producers, writers, stars, and studios, you are aiding and abetting communism. Every time you permit Reds to come into your living room via your TV set, you are helping Moscow and the internationalists destroy America. The committee who tracked down those people was the House Committee of Un-American Activities, or HUAC for short. The HUAC was created in 1938 to investigate and carry out the elimination of communist sympathizers in America. It is an investigative committee of the United States House of Representatives.
Calling the House Un-American Activities Committee to order, Chairman J. Parnell Thomas of New Jersey opens an inquiry into possible communist penetration of the Hollywood film industry. The committee is seeking to determine if Red Party members have reached the screen with subversive propaganda. Mr. Thomas takes an impartial stand in his opening talk.
I want to emphasize at the outset of these hearings that the fact that the Committee on Un-American Activities is investigating alleged communist influence and infiltration in the moving picture industry must not be considered or interpreted as an attack on the industry itself. Nor should our investigation be interpreted as an attack on the majority of persons associated with this great industry. I have every confidence that the vast majority of movie workers are patriotic and loyal Americans.
A long list of prominent motion picture witnesses appear before the committee. Speaking for the films, Eric Johnston, president of the Motion Picture Association, talks frankly concerning the attitude of the producers.
We're accused of having communists and communist sympathizers in our employ. Undoubtedly, there are such persons in Hollywood, as you will find elsewhere in America. But we neither shield nor defend them. We want them exposed. We're not responsible for the political or economic ideas of any individual, but we are responsible for what goes on the screen. We guard that with great care. If communists have attempted to inject their propaganda into the motion picture, they have failed miserably. We will never permit them to succeed.
They established their first Hollywood blacklist in November of 1947. The 10 writers and directors refused to give testimony to the HUAC. They were also cited for being in contempt of Congress. This destroyed their careers. These gentlemen were Albert Maltz, Alvin Bessie, Dalton Trumbo, Edward Dmytryk, Herbert Biberman, John Howard Lawson, Lester Cole, Ring Lardner Jr., Robert Adrian Scott, and Samuel Ornitz. They were blacklisted because they refused to cooperate with the HUAC's investigation. The consequence for being in contempt of Congress was being sentenced to 1 year in prison and to pay a $1,000 fine. These gentlemen said that the HUAC's investigation was an outrageous violation of their First Amendment right. Some of the men chose to use their Fifth Amendment and not to incriminate themselves or others. Many who are blacklisted face almost constant harassment from the FBI, experienced great defamation of character, and now were considered outcasts by their own society. The Hollywood 10 continues to write screenplays, just using a different name. Using the name Robert Rich, Dalton Trumbo penned the script for The Brave One, which earned an Academy Award for Best Screenplay in 1957. Nothing will stop or get in the way of doing what they love.